Welcome to Ask Hyojin.
I'm Hyunwoo.
I'm Terris.
I didn't finish my sentence.
Whatever, we're here to answer your Korean questions.
Ask Hyojin.
All right, so this is part 3, right?
Yes.
Of university life in Korea.
And in this video, we're going to talk about tuition.
Tuition
Favorite
fees.
topic.
So what is tuition fees in Korean first?
등록금.
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 So
등록 means to register
register.
something, and 금 means money.
Or gold.
Yeah.
So we'll be using this word 등록금 quite often in this video, so please remember that. So 등록금, bottom line first, it's more expensive in the States.
Yes.
Since we are Korean, he's American, we cannot cover all the countries. But compared to the States, Korea is much more cheap.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was very pleased when I came to Korea. Especially to me, I don't know how it is to you, but Korea University to me is like one of the cheapest places in the world.
How about in Korea, within Korea?
Within Korea, there are 2 types of tuitions that you can think of. If you go to a national university, such as Seoul National University, for example, from my hometown, Jeonnam National University, in Busan National University. If you go to those national universities, it's a little bit cheaper. I guess it's about half the price.
Oh, okay.
And if you go to private universities, which is usually the case with most other universities, part of your name is gone. Anyway, it's a little more expensive. Korea universities is not the cheapest.
Depending on your major, it varies as well.
Yes.
That's also the same.
Yeah, usually science major is more expensive, and art major is even more expensive.
Yeah.
Music, even more expensive.
Really?
And
Yeah.
liberal arts, like myself, the cheapest.
But still, how much did you pay? Do you remember?
All right, so as I mentioned in 2 previous videos, I was a student for a pretty long time. So when I entered in 1999, the first tuition fee that I paid, or my father paid, was around $1,600 per semester. Back then, I thought even that was pretty expensive. That was the general idea or evaluation of the tuition fees. It was expensive. It was a lot of money.
And for me, I just called my mom and asked to confirm. And she said I paid around a little more than 400만 원.
Did you pay or did she pay?
I brought the bill to my mom and she paid.
I
So
see.
about 4,000?
Yeah.
$4,000 and you entered school around 7 years after me.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So that was a huge leap,
Yeah.
like huge gap between.
For me, it still feels, I mean, not compared to the States, but it still feels pretty expensive.
Yeah, it is
I
expensive.
mean, well, yeah, it is expensive if you think about it.
It's
but-
like a 800만 원, 900만 원 a year. And if you have 2 university student, kids, it's really, it gets
Yes.
over
even more
4 years too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much is your tuition fees?
Well, my friends who are attending Korea University now, some of them pay 4,000, some of them pay 5,000.
Okay.
And my university at Hawaii is 3 times that amount in one semester.
Wow.
So you guys pay like 4,000, 5,000 per
Okay.
semester, and for me, I have to pay 15,000 for one semester,
A
which
lot of
is
money.
a ridiculous amount of money.
I see. I guess the United States might be the most expensive place to go to university in the world.
Yeah, I heard a lot of European countries.
It's almost free.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to our other intern, Rika, and she only pays about $500 a semester.
And
so-
that includes public transportation fees.
Which makes me feel great.
Great.
You're rich. Okay, so I also heard from many of my American friends that they have to work really, really hard to earn tuition fees. Is that true?
Oh, yes, it's true because it's so expensive. A lot of people who can't get scholarship or FAFSA, which is like depending on your family situation, the government will give you money to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
So some
that's
people
called FAB.
FAFSA, it's something that you
FAFSA.
apply to. It's financial aid,
I
pretty
see.
much.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have to pay it back, and some people don't. It really depends on your family situation.
I see. But without anything that you can use, you have to work hard
Yeah,
to make.
and if your parents can't afford it, then you have to work, which may cause people to take hyuhak.
Yeah.
And also, depending if you live in the state you attend college or not, the price differs pretty greatly.
Yeah.
Like for undergrad, I went to school in New York, in Buffalo. And since I lived in New York, it was cheaper. And it was, I think, $8,000 a semester, which was cheap compared to Hawaii, of course.
see.
So when I was going there, I was okay. But Hawaii is, I think I'm going to be like so poor.
So you mean if you are from that state that your school is in, it's cheaper, but if you're from other states,
yeah, it's more expensive.
If you're from other country, it's even more expensive.
Yeah, so I think my friends who live in Hawaii pay about $10,000 a semester.
Okay.
But luckily for me, I'm not from Hawaii, so I pay a lot more.
Okay.
Wow. I don't know why that system exists in the first place. Is it to discourage people from other states to come and
That's what
study
it seems like, but to me it doesn't really make sense. Or I think it's because they pay other taxes in that state, and we don't pay taxes in that state, maybe, so...
But is the difference that big?
It's not that big.
Okay, I have a question to you, Terris. Since you're studying in Korea right now, do you pay more than Korean students or less than Korean students?
More. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because even though we're exchange students, we pay to our school. So it's like I never left.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. And you don't get the difference in payment back?
No.
You only have to pay actually like $4,000 and you have to get $11,000 back into your pockets.
No, we
That's not
pay
happening.
our tuition still, but we're just attending school abroad.
I see. I wonder, since none of us have actually studied abroad from Korea to go to the States, I wonder what happens when a Korean university student attending a Korean university goes to an American university. I don't know.
I heard you have to pay more than
to make
you
up for the
pay-
difference.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So we told you about the prices. So tuition fees are very different. They tend to be a little cheaper, much cheaper in Korea and more expensive in the States. But Korean people, when you tell them, if you were to tell them that you're paying much less than in the States,
Oh, it's
you should
so
be thankful.
cheap.
It's so cheap.
They will get angry.
They will get angry.
I'll get angry.
Yeah, they won't agree with you because the general perception of the tuition fees in Korea is that it's so expensive, that it's ridiculously expensive and it should be lowered.
Yes, I think there are many reasons for that. Off the top of my head, compared to the money that you make, it's usually not a small amount of money. And I was talking to Hyunwoo about it. More than 80% of high school graduates go to the university. So usually everyone goes to the university. So if you don't go to the university, it's harder to get a job. It's harder to get promotions. It's harder to make more money.
Yeah.
So people try to go to university, and like it's for everybody.
Yeah.
University is for
That's
everybody.
right.
But
It's not like a choice. It's almost like a prerequisite. You have to go. It's like a next step, a very natural next step after high school.
after high school.
And all of a sudden, in high school, I think you pay around $200 a year for some kind of taxes for the school. But then all of a sudden, it becomes like $8,000. So it's a huge difference. So all of a sudden, it's a huge blow, and the parents are like, "Oh, we don't have that money." But because of that, Korean parents also prepare for that. Like they save up money and they expect to pay a lot of money for their children's tuition fees.
I mean, it's pretty much the same in the US. Since parents, well, if you want to get a good job, you need a college degree. So a lot of parents try to prepare from when they're little. But also another difference between Korea and the US is that, I don't know if it's because there's so many people, but there's a lot more scholarships available for people to get, even though it's still very competitive and like it depends on your grades and stuff. But there are a lot of small scholarships you can apply for. Some of them are big. Some people go to school for free. There is financial aid. And what most, I'm not sure if I can say most, but what a lot of people do is that they just end up taking out loans because they have no other choice. And there's not a lot of parents who can just dish out $15,000 a semester because that's
a lot of money.
just so much money.
Ridiculously a lot of.
It's so much money. So college students end up taking out loans. So let's say I took out a loan for every semester I was in college. It's $15,000, $30,000, $45,000, a ridiculous amount of money. Then once I graduate, I'd have to pay it back. So that's a big problem in the U.S. now. College kids have so many loans and then they're working for years and then they're not earning a lot of money because they have to pay it right back.
I see. So how long does it usually take for a person, on average, to pay everything back?
Well, it depends on how much it was, and usually people pay for
Like
years.
Are we talking about 10 years?
Maybe
over
10 years.
Wow. So you're saying that it's common to see someone graduate with a lot of loans?
Yes.
I see.
It's
But
very common, which is a problem.
in Korea, there is a similar system which we call 학자금
학자금
대출,
대출.
but that's usually for parents.
Yes.
And parents feel that it is their obligation to take care of this financial mission. So if they have to take a loan, it's their loan, not the students, not the child.
To be honest, my parents are paying my tuition back right at the moment.
I see. So my parents had three of us,
Yeah.
myself and my youngest sister, all of us in college at the same time
Oh.
for 2 years or so. So they were like working really, really hard. They had saved up like for a long time just to be able to be ready for this situation, this crazy situation. They saw this coming, right? From the moment we were born. Because we're only like up to 4 years apart.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they were prepared, somewhat prepared, but I think since I was taking so many years off, they were a little bit relieved secretly when I wasn't paying for school anymore. So yeah, so it's really interesting because even though I was working all the time, since in Korea it's almost like a given that parents pay for children's education. So even though I was working and I was paying for my 하숙집 money, like for housing in Seoul because I was living alone, everything else, I was not getting any allowance from my parents anymore. But for some reason, tuition alone, I didn't pay for it. And it wasn't only me, exceptionally. It was, I think it was really generally very common for only parents to pay for it.
Speaking of housing, for me, because my school was in Seoul and I lived in Seoul, I didn't really need to worry about housing rent or like any other stuff.
So you never lived away from your parents?
No. So like
What a pity.
my
Yes,
father.
what a pity.
What a pity. My father once told me that he wanted to live in another city, but he thought about it. But then by the time my brother and I will go to the university, he had to pay tuition fees for 2 people, 2 kids, and he had to pay rent for 2 people, and everything doubles up. So he just, I'm just gonna stay in Seoul. He assumed that we are gonna go to a university in Seoul.
Did your brother not go to university in Seoul?
I would, but I would also experience.
Living alone?
Yeah. Anyways.
So what I just remembered is that I think Korean universities are trying to get more foreigners to come to Korean universities, so they do offer a lot of scholarships. When I first came to Korean university, they had one scholarship where if you had like over a 3.0, they would give you like 생활비, like maybe $400 a month so that you can pay for
Food.
your food or your wherever you lived. And there was another scholarship that they give you like just $1,000 once. But yeah, they have a lot of
Scholarships
benefits for foreigners. Even though I think the tuition might be a little more expensive.
I see. I have a question here for both of you.
Okay.
So let's imagine you are preparing to enter a university right now, and you got an offer from a university that saying that they would actually exempt you from any tuition for 4 years. You don't have to pay a thing. And that university is slightly a little less prestigious than the
Whoa.
university that you're aiming for. Would you go
That
here or
happened
there?
to me actually.
Oh.
I was accepted by another university for, well, not for full years, but for free for 2 years. And I was, I should go this school, Korean university, which I have to pay everything. And then I have this school, which I have to pay only for 2 years. But my dad was like, you go this school. I'll pay you this. You go this school.
Yeah, I think that's the most common decision actually.
Yes.
I also had the same experience. I was offered by a university something really nice, and then I had to turn it down because, you know, my parents were also, I mean, they thought, I think, I thought too, they would feel bad eventually, 10 or 20 years later, that they had to send their son to a slightly like
Less
worse,
prestigious.
less prestigious school because of some money. So although the total sum is big, I think most parents would choose the better
Well, the
school.
thing is, I'm not sure if it's the same as in the States, but here in Korea, I think it's one of the biggest social problem. There are like ranks and
Yeah,
levels. Like, it's so obvious and so, like, everyone knows. And of course, there are ranks. You can look it up in any countries. But here in Korea, it's very, I don't know, like, very important.
Since Korea is a relatively small country compared to other bigger countries, I don't know if it is like that right now, but even 20 years ago, 10 years ago, if you look at all the important people like high, upstairs, like really on the top of the government hierarchy, most of them are from the top 3 or 4 universities, and they actually consist 80% of everybody. So if you are from one of these top so-and-so top schools, I guess they have an easier time, like they're better connected and things like that. So
and I think that's what you mean, that your parents rather send you this school with paying more money.
Yeah, it's like an investment.
Yeah.
This has more benefits later on.
Yes.
Yeah, but now I think a lot of younger parents are realizing that it doesn't really matter which school someone goes to. It's also like it's more important what the student masters and becomes good at and what kind of friends they make. So it's changing. And people have protested in the past, and not so much these days, against the rising prices, right?
I hope the American government watches this video. Lower prices.
Mr. Obama.
So yeah, that's our tuition talk.
Yeah, I hope that answers some of your questions. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Maybe we'll do another video.
Maybe part 4.
5, maybe.
6.
Yeah. All right.
Today's episode of Ask Hyojin, or Ask Us Two. And yeah, we'll come back next time. Bye, everybody.
Oh, 감사합니다.
Terry. You're Terry now.
Okay, you... Okay. Bye, everybody.
Well, I was on the bus, and I was passing by this university nearby my house, and there was this little kid and his mom. And this kid asked, "Mom, is this school a good school?" And then I expected normal Korean moms would say yes or no, or like, "Oh, this school is good, but this school is better." But she said, "Oh no, honey, whatever school you go is the best school."
Wow.
I was so
a wise
touched.
mom.